What's going on, campers? Chopsdoodle coming at you with another deck building video. Today we're going to do the Fulgurite. I don't think I've seen too much buzz on Fulgurite, so I figured I'd throw one together. Might not be amazing, but I think it'll be pretty cool. This deck kind of focuses on discard and just kind of like flyers and raw monster strength, I suppose. But we'll go through the deck real quick. So we're going to have our Snallygaster, which I don't think I've seen anyone build with a Snallygaster yet. We got 5 Fluorite Lanterns, 5 Fulgurite Lanterns, 3 Graveyard, 3 Mountain. The main deck is going to consist of 2 Lucifer, 2 Owlman, 3 Thunderbird, 2 Headless Horsemen, 2 Baba Yaga. This is the Kickstarter one, so don't run away scared. This isn't the blister one. 3 Over the Storm, 3 Aviator, 4 Card Rating, 3 Spiritualist, 1 Victorian New Year, Elemental Campfire, Fluorite Incense, Fluorite Cabin, Fluorite Ocarina, 3 Parachute, Fulgurite Cabin, 2 Syllables of Wind, 2 Mantras of Revival, 3 Storm and Calm, 2 Garuda, 3 Caledonia Boar, 3 Utberder, or Burrower, 2 Man Duck. And we will go ahead and pop over to the TTS and we will see what it looks like. Okay, we are over to the TTS side now. I want to note though, I had to make a change to the deck and I didn't want to have to go back and remake it on the website. So I removed the 3 Utberders and I put in 2 more Man Ducks, which makes more sense. And I don't know how I forgot the Wish Fulfilling Jewel, but I put that in. So note, I removed the 3 Utberders from the list, and I put in 2 more Man Ducks for a total of 4. And of course, I put in the Wish Fulfilling Jewel. But yeah, this deck is basically a cryptid deck. And like I said, mentioned earlier, there's a little bit of discard involved. Mainly through Lucifer getting an advantage whenever someone discards a card, he gets +1/+1 patch. But Parachute also will help you recover cards that you're discarding. And Card Reading will help you sift through your deck. And if you have Parachute out, when you use your Card Reading, then you'll be able to get those draws back or get those discards turn them into draws. Now that I think about it, I don't think there's a restriction on having multiple parachutes out and using a card reading. So like if you had 2 out, for example, and used a card reading and discarded 2, even though they're once per turn, I think that's per card. So if you had 2 out, you could negate this, not negate it because you still have to discard 2 cards, but you would get to draw 2 additional cards. So anytime that you discard any cards with the Parachute out, you're essentially just going through your deck more. I believe some other things do as well. Yeah, so the Fulgurite Cabin causes a discard, and so does the Syllable of Wind. This is to your opponent though, so there's an element of discard against your opponent in this deck, which is really cool. As well as the Snallygaster. The Snallygaster, when he defeats a rival cryptid, choose a random card and discard it. And of course, Lucifer, he benefits from any discard that happens, whether it's your opponent or yours. So if you're using card readings, your Lucifer will get buffed. Or if you're forcing your opponent to discard through Snallygaster or Fulgurite or the Syllable of Wind, then you'll also get a benefit to Lucifer. Now, as far as the rest of the deck goes, Caledonia Boar, that's your standard weather fetch. You're going to want Storm in the region if possible, because your Lucifer benefits greatly from it. If Cryptid defeats a rival Cryptid in defense mode, gain 1 EV. And your Thunderbird, even though the Thunderbird actually gives Storm to the region, if you don't have Storm in the region while this is in your hand, then he doesn't have Swift. So you want to have Storm down so that you can play this guy face up for 4. And he has Flyer as well. Almost everything in this deck has Flyer, including Man Duck. It just requires there to be 2 on the field. The Baba Yaga also has Flyer. The Baba Yaga is specifically here so that you can retrieve spells. So you'll be able to retrieve Victorian New Year, Elemental Campfire, Wish Fulfilling Jewel, stuff like that. Card ratings if you really wanted to. Any of your CZOs, basically any memory. Sorry, you can't retrieve the jewel. That's a supply. My bad. And then on the fluorite side of the deck, we have reses. We have the fluorite cabin. We have the mantra of revival as well. I wanted to keep the blister one out of this because I wanted to keep it cryptid focused and not try and leak into the Baba Yaga strategy. I think the other deck that I posted before is much better for that. This one is definitely just focusing on board control by, fighting with powerful cryptids, Headless Horseman included. Snallygaster is great. And of course, Snallygaster gives first strike to all Fulgurite cryptids. So when you have this guy out, whenever you're in a fight, if you're in attack mode and they're in attack mode, your strike goes through first. So if you happen to be able to defeat them, you'll defeat them before they get to attack back. So very strong. And of course, we have Owlman as well. Owlman is good for stealing equipment or supplies, I should say. So you might be able to steal some useful supplies from your opponent with him. And Garuda is, I feel like Garuda is a sleeper. It says when you play as cryptid, move a chosen cryptid into an empty site. So I think you can take any cryptid you want and put it in any empty site you want. I think that includes your cryptids and your opponent's cryptids. And the site can be any empty site. So your camp or your opponent's camp. So you can probably do some pretty crazy stuff with this. You can take something from their back row and just put it in the front row of theirs so you can fight it, or you can just transport it to the back of your camp so you can fight it with something you have sitting in the back, or something like Headless Horseman or something. Because you can have Headless Horseman sitting in the back row and have him explore the front row of your opponent's camp. And if you need to fight something that's hiding in the back, you could Garuda, snatch it from the back, move it up, or move it right next to Headless Horseman and fight it. Ideally, you would want to move in the front row, though, because if you fight something in your own camp, you don't benefit evidence-wise. So it's really not worth it. But other than that, I mean, I think it would just be a very good solid, like, you're beating your opponent down with cryptids. You're trying to keep their resources low with the discarding. The discarding is not going to happen until kind of later in the game unless you pull an early syllable of wind and you happen to get them with it. So the discard isn't that reliable yet until they add a little bit more or a few more cards that can discard from your opponent's hand. But the last thing to note too is that we're going to have Over the Storm in here as well. And because basically every cryptid except for the Lucifer and the Headless Horsemen, they're all flyers, and the Caledonia, you can always use an Over the Storm to defend your cryptids. Basically, it essentially blocks non-flyers from exploring your flyers' zones that they're sitting in. Sites, I should say, sorry. But yeah, I haven't tested this out. I haven't tested basically any deck out. At some point, I'm hoping that someone will hop on and play some camp with me. But until then, if you guys are testing these decks out, let me know how they are in the comments. So I would love to hear. I know I heard a few people say that my freshly baked cookies deck was pretty good. So I'd like to hear that. One of these days I'll get around to trying that myself too. I have them all saved, so. But until next time, I will see you guys later. Peace.